Welcome to the Amazon cheat sheet for clothing brands. My name is Alda Khan. I'm the co-founder of Amazio Works Fashion. We are an Amazon agency that specializes and works with all sorts of Amazon fashion brands, from clothing to shoes to socks to even jewelry nowadays. We've been working with brands for about 2, 3, 4 years, and we like to think that we know quite a bit about the field. So hopefully this video will help give you tips and guides on how you can maneuver with your own clothing brand on Amazon and help you manage, scale, whatever issues you might be going through. So to give you some context, these are some of our case studies. We work with some clothing brands. Some do over 4 million to 3.5 million pounds. Also have another one right here. Yeah, for this one. So what's the point of this video? Point of this video is we know that how difficult it can be to run an Amazon fashion brand on the platform compared to every other niche. Obviously, every niche has its own difficulties, but we found with clothing and fashion and like with large variations, there's a lot of separate issues that most agencies don't know how to deal with, which is why we're trying to give you our knowledge and what has worked for us so you can apply into your own business. So this will be a long video, but hopefully it'll provide you with lots of value. So what are the topics we're going to go over? PPC advertising, big issue for fashion and clothing on Amazon. We're going to go over that. Returns and exchanges, seasonal trends, holidays, launching new product lines, collaborations, returns, reviews, lots of sort of things. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's unlock your full potential on Amazon. So Amazon PPC for clothing and fashion. Why is PPC for clothing and fashion so difficult or intricate to deal with? First thing is there's much more generic keywords compared to highly relevant keywords. What do we mean by that? So let's say you're selling a skirt on Amazon. Let's say it's a long skirt or a floral skirt or stuff like that. The issue is most of the search volume will be for the generic word itself, skirt, right? Versus floral spring skirt won't have as much of a search volume. So what does that mean? If you're competing for the word skirt, you're going to have lots more competition because there's going to be lots of people bidding for that keyword, right? Because it has the most search volume, it's the most relevant to the product, right? So the bids will be more expensive and you're going to have much more competition. And you don't want to, you can target like a floral, like a keyword like floral spring skirt. You can target that, but the search volume may not be high enough for you to generate enough sales, right? So point number two, products not having enough relative keywords, right? So let's say you're selling a cardigan. How many keywords are related to cardigan? You can have just the simple word cardigan. You can have a small cardigan, a black cardigan, but most of those keywords won't have enough search volume. So you're not going to be showing your product to the right customers, which obviously at the end of the day won't give you any sales. Number three, advertising for large variations of a product. As you know, with clothing, there's a lot of sub ASINs and child ASINs, right? For example, if we go here, we can just look at this one. This product has about, so let's see, 3, 6, 7, 14, 21, 28 different colors and 5 sizes, 28 and 5. If we go to calculator, 1 second, 28 times 5. This listing itself has 140 child ASINs. So how are you supposed to run PPC for these? Do you run it for all these child ASINs? Do you pick a certain amount of colors, a certain amount of sizes? You know, these are all issues people deal with on PPC for clothing, right? So way too many variations can be overwhelming. You don't know how to allocate your PPC budget across your catalog. Should you have a PPC budget at all? Do you run PPC for all of your products? That's just one listing. So imagine if you have 10 of those listings. You can have thousands and thousands of child ASINs and variations. So how do you manage all these variations on your PPC campaigns? And also, which color or variations of a product should you run PPC for? So I'll showcase to you what we do for our clients. So pretty much what you do not want to do is run campaigns for all of your products or your entire product catalog on Amazon. Why is this? We say you should even run PPC for even 50% of your clothing line. This results in a high ACOS, bad profit margins, and the inability to manage efficiently, right? Instead, you should run campaigns on your products high in demand. This can result in a high profit margin and low ACOS, the ability to manage efficiently, and brand growth. Okay, so what do we mean by this? Why should you run PPC on only maybe less than 50% of your product line? By emphasizing our best-selling clothing lines, you are inversely going to boost sales on products you do not need to run ads for. Why is this? This is due to increased traffic on your Amazon storefront as a whole. Once people go into your listings for your best-selling products, they might go into your Amazon storefront and see your entire product catalog. And when they see your entire product catalog, they'll see all your other listings of like t-shirts, shorts, this sort of thing. And then they're going to be more inclined to buy those products, right? So for example, if we go into like one of these listings, you go here, you see this, and then customers will click your storefront and they'll see lots and lots of deals, lots of different variations of products, socks, this and that, right? It's much more easier to manage while you're still gonna get the same amount of traffic on your Amazon listings, right? Because your best-selling listings obviously have the highest volume already, and they're already getting most of the traffic. So you just want to maximize those listings to bring traffic to your other products. This is a perfect analogy I like using to clients and stuff like this. Imagine you're selling your clothing brand in a mall. Okay, what's the point of a mall? In a mall, each store has a storefront outside to bring customers in, right? Like for example, H&M. H&M has these product catalogs on the outside showcasing some of the products, right? And what does it do? If someone walks by and sees these products, they're more likely to go inside. And once they go inside, they're going to see hundreds of different product catalogs that you have inside too, right? So that's free advertising. But these main ones are the ones that are going to push the traffic into your storefront or customers into your store, right? So use H&M. They have clothing displays outside of the store. Once customers come in, they are introduced to hundreds of different clothing items they wouldn't have been if there were no clothing displays. This is how Amazon clothing brands should operate. We want to use our best-selling lines to draw customers into our entire store, and then they can choose from their liking from our entire product catalog. That's a good analogy whenever you want to think about it on Amazon. It's the same as an Amazon or in a mall or in an actual storefront. Another issue. You never want to put all your variations or an ASINs of a listing under one PPC campaign. Why is this? This results in a large amount of wasted advertising money. The key is optimization. You have to always optimize every week your bid, keywords, and everything, right? So what is the point of running advertising on every variation of product when we can just maximize the best-selling ones, right? And the best-selling ones will end up boosting the sales of all of your variations, right? So for example, if we have this listing, we don't want to run campaigns for every single color. It doesn't make sense. It's hard to manage. The PPC budget won't be balanced. It'll go more to one product. Other ones won't have any, and you don't know the demand for one. Like, for example, we don't know the demand for a green one. Is there a demand for it? We don't know. The black one may have more demand. So why not just figure out the top 3 to 5 colors that are selling the best and just run aggressive PPC for these campaigns? Because, for example, if one of these does really well, all of these child ASINs will be boosted too, right? They all work for the same listing. It doesn't matter if one's doing better than the other. It's not separate. So you just want to maximize the top 3 to 5, and then it'll generate sales for all of these other colors too, right? And it's much more easier to manage. This is a perfect picture. Your top variations carrying the rest. This is what you should do on Amazon. Once you figure out what's the best for the market, just maximize that one. Okay, now the best approach to running variation campaigns. Like I said, you want to identify 3 to 5 of your best selling color variations, right? So for like these ones, maybe usually the best colors are the more basic ones. So a black, a blue, a red, a white, a gray, a brown, right? Versus like a purple, right? So what do we want to do is we want to run auto campaigns for small sizes of these variations. Now, why do I say small sizes of these variations? When you run campaigns on small sizes, you will get more conversion as small sizes have lower prices and a lower cost per click, right? The listing price on the display page will also show the lowest price as we are targeting the smallest size instead of targeting larger sizes and showing higher prices. What do I mean by this? So if we go back into this listing, back again. Okay, so like this one, this black gray pants. So the extra small size is at $19.95, right? If it can just work. If we do 4x, it goes up to $29. So if we run the campaigns on the small sizes, the cost per click is usually less because the size is less and the demand and the competition is less. But also the listing price is much different. So when that ad comes up, it'll showcase as $19.95 instead of the $28.99, right? And even when people click on the listing and they change the size, most people don't notice the price difference, right? So you're going to get more traffic to your listing because your price is going to be less than the competition, and people might just end up paying for the regular price anyways, right? So it's a total win-win situation. Yeah, so you want to run small size auto campaigns for those 3 to 5 variations, okay? Once the campaigns for the best-selling variations are operating smoothly and ranking good, all your other variations will rank alongside. Like I said, so if one color is doing really well, all the other colors will rank alongside with it. The one variation ranking high results in all variations ranking high. It's a domino effect. Okay, now, what are we going to do first? We're going to start off with auto campaigns first. Why are we starting off with auto campaigns? Unless your clothing line is highly specific, let's say you're selling an Italian leather jacket, it's going to be hard to find specific keywords that have a high enough search volume for you to run exact and manual campaigns for. Since most clothing items are usually generic. So let's say you're selling a t-shirt. You're going to be bidding for the keyword t-shirt, right? And like white t-shirt, plain t-shirt, right? It's not a highly specific field, the clothing and fashion field regarding keywords, right? Like for example, if you're selling a supplement for like magnesium, you would bid for magnesium supplements or something of that sort. It's more specific, and there's actual demand for that specific audience. But clothing niche is more generic, right? T-shirts, pajamas, sweatpants. So running auto campaigns allows us to find keywords that convert well, create new manual keywords for the best converting ones, and negate negative keywords that are spending money with no conversion. Okay, so now what's the process for creating these textile-oriented auto campaigns? So we're going to create sponsored product campaigns. We're going to create 2 campaigns, one for close and loose match, one for substitute and complement. Now, close and loose match you can put together, and substitute and complement you can put together. That's what we found works well. So close and loose match, you'll find very similar and related keywords for that product. Substitute and complement will target your competitors' listings while also complementary products, such as if you're selling like shoes, you might be targeting sock listings and all sorts of things, right? What we want to do is we want to add 3 to 4 of the child ASINs of the top selling variations in both campaigns. So for example, when we went back here, so maybe 3 to 4 of these colors you can just add into the campaign, because like I said, we don't want to run it for all of them. We want to run it for the best selling ones, right? You want to set the bids usually about 10 cents above what Amazon is saying, just to increase your chance of visibility and to generate those keywords. For bidding strategy, we want to go dynamic bids down only, because we don't want Amazon to increase our bids if it's not converting well. We're just wasting money at the end of the day. So this will automatically lower our bids. Okay, daily budget. We never want to run out of the budget. So usually you can start at 100 and you can keep going up if it's converting well, but it should be enough to last the entire day. Okay, now the real magic is what happens next. So after about 2 to 3 weeks of running these auto campaigns, we want to extract the best converting keywords and make manual campaigns targeting those. But be careful. Make sure you are always running the auto campaigns. We never want to stop running the auto campaigns, especially if it's converting well and doing well. Do not stop it. You never want to stop a campaign if it's doing well, right? It makes no sense. Instead of just get those keywords and make it into a separate campaign. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make an advertising report. You would go here, reports, advertising reports, loads, right? And you would just create a report and pick up whatever you want, right? Now let's see how you would extract the best converting keywords of what we think are the best converting keywords. So this is the Excel sheet. Now we like to go by two things, the total sales and the ACOS. Okay, so for the total sales, we want to extract keywords that have the most sales within those 2 to 3 weeks, right? Because obviously, if it has the most sales, it means it's the most specific to your product catalog and what you're selling, right? But be careful. You can have a product. So let's say this one that did about 2,600 pounds. We can have this one. It can have the most sales in that time frame. But let's say the ACOS was like 90 or 100%. We wouldn't want to extract that keyword because that means it's too broad, right? It's too broad of a keyword. It's although it's getting a lot of traffic, it's not specific enough, and the advertising spend and the sales are not balancing out, right? So there's no point really just targeting those keywords. So we want to find the ones with lots of sales, and usually an ACOS below 15 to 20%. The lower the better, right? Because if it has high sales and a low ACOS, that means it's very specific to your product, right? And the more specific it is, we want to target those keywords so we can rank on it and increase our BSR rank, right? So that's the best approach. Usually 15 to 20% below is a good benchmark. And even if it has a ROAS above 2 to 3, that's as good as it can be, really. So now now we get these keywords, right? Now we're gonna create manual campaigns for these keywords. Okay, so now this is where it's very specific for clothing and fashion of how to figure out which keyword goes in which campaigns. So if you know on Amazon, there's 3 types of campaigns you can run. You can run an exact campaign, a broad campaign, and a phrase campaign. So let's use the Italian leather jacket. So you can see on the bottom right, this Italian leather jacket. Let's say you're selling this jacket. So an exact match keyword will usually be something like Italian leather jacket because it's very specific to your product, right? A phrase match campaign would be for a semi-relevant keyword, a leather jacket. It's a leather jacket. It's not Italian, but it's a leather jacket. It's in the same sort of category. And then a broad match would be broad keywords like a jacket, right? But there's so many different jackets. There can be a long jacket. There can be a puffer jacket, so it's very broad. So once you get the keywords from the Excel sheet and the report, you want to identify which one of these the keywords it would fall under, which match type, right? Now, for making the campaigns, it's all sort of the same structure. It just varies depending on the bid. So you want to add the child ASINs, the same thing again, the colors, like 3 to 5 colors, right? So you want to add those, and you want to add the keywords. Now, what we usually like to do is if a keyword you find on the Excel sheet has a high search volume, you want to create a separate campaign for that one, right? Because we want to optimize it and we want to rank for that keyword to get the most sales. But if you also find lots of small keywords that are doing well, that don't have as much search volume, you can place about 3 to 4 to 5 of them in the same group, and the budget will be allocated as seems fit. Or you can just do it all separately. But if you do it all separately, it can be hard to manage. So it's really up to you. So if you're running an exact campaign, we want you to set a high bids as we are targeting highly specific keywords. For example, the Italian leather jacket. If we are running exact campaigns for that keyword, we want to bid 15 to 20% above what Amazon is saying because we want to rank on this keyword because we are super specific for it, right? If you're running a phrase campaign, we want to set medium bids. So let's say the leather jacket. Leather jacket, we want to be above 5% above what Amazon is saying, right? Because it's relevant to our product, but it's not super specific, but we still want to rank on it. And then for broad campaign, we want to set low bids. So broad campaigns are usually the most expensive with the highest cost per click, right? So if we have Italian leather jacket and we want to target jacket, we want to go 15 to 20% lower than what Amazon is saying because we don't want to waste our PPC budget targeting a keyword that is not super specific and people just click on our listing and go away, right? So this is usually a good benchmark of what you should do. So we like to think of this 2-phrase advertising strategy, the auto campaigns and the manual campaigns for clothing brands. We think it's an amazing strategy to always run both at the same time. And you always want to be optimizing it. So every week you want to check the bid, maybe new keywords have higher search volume, and you are always in the process of optimizing your campaign. Another cool little tidbit is running defensive campaigns on your best-selling listings. Now, we see a lot of clothing brands and fashion brands are not doing this, and it's really wasting a lot of their sales, and also it's allowing it's allowing competitors to steal their own sales, right? So once you start performing well in the market, you want to protect your listings with defensive campaigns. Defensive campaigns allow you to come up on advertising spots for your own listings, so competitors cannot steal your customers and reviews. So, for example, this brand, one of the best-selling listings, they are running all these defensive campaigns of their own products so that competitors cannot steal their sales, right? So they're running 9 defensive campaigns on one of the best-selling listings. Now, what is the point of running defensive campaigns? There's 3 core benefits, right? If I can scroll down here. More. Defensive campaigns. Okay. So now they have 3 core benefits. Number 1, they kick off your competitors from your listings. So if you showcase more of your products on your own listings, then customers won't be inclined to click on other listings of other similar competitors, right? And that will also upsell other products of yours, right? So if I go on these listings, if I go on these listings and then I may click on one of these other listings, right? And then you get more awareness for your entire brand as itself, right? And third is it provides on the fence customers another chance to convert. So maybe they're not there for your initial product, and then they see more listings of yours, right? And they say, oh, this one's more intriguing to me, and they'll buy more of these products. The goal is so that they stay within your Amazon storefront and in your ecosystem, so that they see more products of yours and they'll be more inclined to buy more and more from you, right? Like I said, imagine it having your own store in a mall. If customers inside your storefront, they're going to go from section to section to section because they see so many different products from your brand, right? That's sort of the same strategy we want to do on Amazon. Okay. Okay. Next topic we're going to talk about is returns and exchanges on Amazon for clothing and fashion brands. So while the average return rate varies from category to category, the highest is among electronics and apparel, where it can reach up to 40%. You must experience this as we experience this. Lots of returns, right? And there's many reasons as to why there's returns on Amazon, right? Number 1, customers aren't able to physically try on the product before purchasing, right? Which is human error is always possible, and there's always sizing and fitting issues, right? Especially through e-commerce because they can't physically try the product on, right? Another issue is wrong size charts. Maybe your size chart can be right, but the customer just doesn't read it right properly, right? So human error is always a thing on Amazon. You have to think of the customer as a child. Make it as easy for them to understand and pick the right size, right? Because Amazon will always be on their side for refunds and returns, right? And on the back end, it can be very frustrating to deal with so many returns. Colors can also be an issue. The product might not be what they thought it would be. And quality. Okay, so what is the goal? The goal is to minimize returns, as Amazon will always favor the customer rather than the seller. And nobody wants to deal with repackaging and wasted inventory. Okay, so there are a few ways to combat this, okay? Number 1, you must do your absolute best to showcase proper sizing, texture, and color through your images and A+ content. This is a perfect picture from a listing, right, on their A+ content. So they show the size of each small, medium, large, and then they do all the separate measurements, from the back length, the bust, to the sleeve length. They even showcase how to measure it, all the sorts of stuff, right? So we want to make it as easy for the customer to be fully confident in the purchase and the size that they're getting, right? And that's through providing all the measurements and how to measure it and this sort of stuff, right? Like this, how to measure. They say lay down the clothing on a flat surface, take the measurement as illustrated, and this and that. If we go to this listing, this is one of the best listings. They have an entire size chart, right, with all the measurements from each separate size, and it makes it very easy for the customer to identify what's the best size for them, right? Another thing is you want to apply the correct measurement for separate marketplaces. Let's say you're selling in Amazon UK and then Amazon US, right? Obviously, there's different sizes for each, so you have to account for each. usually what we think is best is providing a universal chart, right? So for example, the US size is 2 sizes smaller than the UK size for women, something like this, right? So if you're selling on both marketplaces, make sure you're applying the correct measurement in your images and your A plus content as to the measurement sizes, or else obviously you're going to get a lot of returns, right? And if you get a lot of returns, you're going to get a lot of negative reviews and your listing is just going to go bad. So what we think the best is you want to provide a universal chart which accounts for all measurements used in various countries. This is very easy if you just want to apply the same images to various marketplaces. Something like this, right? So it shows the size in the US, the UK, Europe, the size, the length, the waist, right? Something like this can be used for all marketplaces. It makes it easier for customer to read it and just to understand what's best for them, because obviously they know what their size is for their respective country and how they measure themselves. So this is a really good thing you can implement into your own listings. Another thing that we think is of utmost importance for clothing on Amazon is you have to be really good at providing good customer support. So pretty much the better the customer service, the less likely you will receive refunds. The less likely you receive refunds, the less likely you receive negative reviews, which ends up hurting your sales, right? So you always want to provide solutions for customers, such as if they have a size issue, you can offer an exchange for the proper size. If it's the damaged clothes is dirty, you can offer to send another one free of cost, right? We always want to the ultimate goal is to never let the customer leave a bad review, right? Because especially on clothing on Amazon, you can get lots of reviews really quickly because like look at this one, this view has 20,000, right? Because customers love to give good reviews for items that make them feel good. For so especially like clothing, you try clothing on, it makes you look good, it makes you feel good. You take a picture of it, of the item, and you're very happy, right? But if you have a bad experience with it, they're more likely to leave a negative review. So you always want to be really good at customer service, right? So you want to provide all possible solutions before issuing a full refund, right? Everything, anything you can do in your power, try doing it because we want to maintain your listing rating and health. So what we recommend, especially if you are a big clothing brand with a large catalog on Amazon, have a VA or a virtual assistant or someone that's dedicated solely to customer service, right? Because especially the niche already has lots of returns coming in, and you always want to have someone that's ready to deal with and communicate with customers, right? So Amazon requires the sellers to respond within 24 hours. We like to respond within the first 10 hours because the longer you delay the response time, the longer they're going to issue that full refund and then they're going to leave a bad review, right? So we want to give as little time to the customer to reconsider their decisions and be displeased, right? So you always want to have someone on deck ready to respond and give refunds or any exchanges, stuff like that, right? For example, look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is one of the biggest fast food companies in the world, just in the US, right? And they're known for having the best customer service, right? For years and years and years and years, they've won awards just for customer service. And that helps build their brand, right? You always want to protect your brand on Amazon, right? Through good customer service and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll go into the next topic. Okay, now for a topic that is super specific to Amazon fashion and clothing, which is maximizing the seasons and the holidays. So if your clothing brand is not prepared for the holidays and maximizing seasons, you are going to be missing out on an exponential amount of sales. This includes all seasons such as winter, spring, summer, and fall, and holidays such as Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Easter, all sorts of stuff, right? So having a clothing brand involves pivoting and preparing for different clothing seasons before they arrive. For example, your brand could excel in winter apparel, but struggle to provide a spring clothing line, right? This is detrimental in a few ways. You're losing sales by not maximizing seasonal trends. You're losing brand loyalty by not providing year-long clothing. And potential customers are going to buy from your competitors. So actually, just recently, we had a brand contact us and they were saying they wanted to improve their sales, they wanted to work with us and they didn't know what the issue was. And then my team had a look at their brand and we saw they were selling all winter clothing. right? And right now it's June. It is June 24th, and they were selling jackets, baggy pants, gloves and this sort of stuff, right? So obviously you're not going to get sales during the summer as the demand for that seasonal product line is not high, right? Right now in the summer, people want shorts, people want tank tops, people want skirts, right? So it doesn't make sense. So what we recommend just having product lines for each separate season instead of just one. Because if you just have one, you're only going to be profitable or have lots of sales during one part of the year, and the rest is going to be like a wasteland, right? You're not going to be profiting anything. So what we say is have a product line that is sustainable year long and a product line that varies from seasons and holidays. So for example, jeans. Jeans are a product line that is always going to be relevant all year, right? For summer, spring, winter, fall, right? So you always want to be in stock for jeans, right? You always want to be in stock. You always want to grow your organic rank on relevant keywords, right? But let's say you have a seasonal holiday product lines, right? The good thing about seasonal holiday product lines is you know what the customer wants and you know when they want it. So we know when winter comes that jackets, toques, jeans, pants are going to be high in demand, right? We know customers are going to come on Amazon and look for clothes for the weather, right? So you want to maximize this, right? So for example, if we sell shorts in the summer, we know are going to be the highest in demand. If we look at the chart for June to July to August, obviously the spike up is always going to be high. So you always want to have enough stock on Amazon and a big enough catalog to drive sales to your brand. So what do we say? So for seasonal products, you need to be fully aware of the trajectory it will follow. This includes the projected sales, the PPC bids, and when to reduce inventory. So usually we want to reduce inventory for seasonal clothing lines 2 weeks prior to the next season because then we don't want to have access of stock left and we want to focus on the next season. Versus holidays, we usually want to reduce inventory just a few days prior to the actual holiday because obviously most people already bought what they need for the holidays and they're not going to buy on the day of, right? It doesn't make sense. Okay, so the launch strategy for seasonal and holiday product lines. So what we want to do is the goal is always to be ahead of the competition. We always want to be ahead of the competition because that means we are early to the game and we will have a much higher organic rank, right? So in the first 2 weeks of the season, you want to stay ahead of the competition. Most competitors will not be ready within the first 2 weeks as they still may be focused on the previous season sales, right? By being ahead of the curve and having enough stock ready, it'll be much easier to attain a higher organic rank for related keywords as competitors will be lacking behind. So also, if there's not enough competition within that 2 week period, that means the cost per click will be less, and you can generate much more sales and attain a higher organic rank. Now imagine 2 weeks after, when you already have a good amount of sales, you're going to be ahead of competitors ranking for those seasonal keywords, right? Your BSR is going to be up. You're going to be on the first page, right? So at that point, all that is needed is you just need to maintain stock and run your advertising, right? Yeah. Once you attain a high organic rank, all that is needed is proper inventory and advertising management, right? Now Q4, we all know what Q4 is. Q4 is where the money is made in e-commerce, where sales can go up by like 50%, right? Especially for clothing and apparel, the boom is crazy. Just recently, we helped one of our brands. They just did within 1 month, they did 1.2 million pounds in sales just doing Q4. So proper Q4 management, what does it look like? Maximizing holiday product lines. So obviously during Q4, we know that Halloween, Thanksgiving, and especially Christmas is the biggest holiday, and you should always have product lines for these holidays in stock. For Christmas, we recommend having stock like in about 1.5 months before Christmas, because lots of people like to do early Christmas shopping for everything they buy. They like to gift it up, wrap it up, keep it all in stock. And we also want to get those early sales to increase our organic rank for those keywords. For Christmas, you can have like a ugly sweater line, a pajama line, sock lines, all sort of stuff. But even if you do not have Christmas product lines, clothing itself has such a boom during Q4 that if you sell like pajamas, jackets, anything of sorts that is giftable, you're going to see a big increase in sales no matter what. So you always want to optimize And on the back end, you always want to make sure you have enough inventory in stock, right? And that your PPC budget never runs out. So although seasonal and holidays are great, we want to we want to make sure you never overemphasize on seasonal products. Focusing too much on seasonal products may cause us to get lost with not keeping up with year-long product lines, or even worse, forgetting about them. I love showing this Will Smith, "How come you don't want me, man?" Meme from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So what do I mean by this? If it is summer, you want to focus on seasonal lines such as shorts and tank tops. Yet if you sell like jackets or hoodies year long, it won't be generating as much sales because there's not as much demand in the summer, right? But you still do not want to run out of stock for these products. Why is that? Because once fall and winter come back, you would have lost your organic rank for that jacket, resulting in you have to increase your ad spend just trying to regain that organic rank. And that would be detrimental to your profit, cash flow, and you would be wasting a lot of money on PPC. So what we recommend is if that product line is not hot in demand during a certain time, you can just reduce the inventory by about 50%, right? But you want to have enough in stock for the search volume, right? So also remember, if the product line is not hot in demand, so let's say jackets during the summer, if it's not hot in demand, that means there's not as much competition too. So the PPC cost per click bid is going to be much less, right? So we can always take advantage of this. We also don't want to be too aggressive with PPC bids, as our main focus should be to maximize our profit and organic rank, right? We just want to be sustainable enough in the category for those products so that once winter comes back, we won't have to climb up as aggressively, right? We'll still be on the first page or close, and we can just wrap it up, right? The main goal or the biggest thing for selling clothing on Amazon is being prepared for everything. You need to be prepared for each season, the inventory, the budget, all sorts of stuff, right? Or else you're going to get lost in the mud and your competitors will just run straight through you. Remember, every product line has its time. Okay, one last little tidbit or bonus that I wanted to showcase to clothing and fashion brands on Amazon is this new boom on e-commerce called TikTok, and why TikTok is unique for clothing brands especially, right? So although Amazon continues to grow, you can have a look at TikTok, which also is growing exponentially, right? We just look at the graph and the numbers, the amount of sales. And just recently, TikTok has now expanded to TikTok Shop. So similar to how Amazon has Amazon FBA, they now have TikTok Shop, right? They recently launched their first warehouse in the UK. The US currently is on icy water as there's the legislations regarding TikTok and whether they're going to allow it in the US. But this is just a good thing to keep in the back of your mind for when when it could possibly be cleared in the US so that more brands can go and focus on it. So now, why is TikTok so unique for clothing brands? It's very unique for clothing brands because through the use of collaborations with marketers and their own audience. For example, on TikTok, lots of people showcase the clothing items they buy to their audience. They buy it on Amazon, they buy it on whatever platform, on an Etsy, right, on a Shopify, right, and they showcase the clothing item that they're wearing, right. So imagine if you partner with influencers, giving them your clothing catalog, and then they showcase it to their audience, right? They already have the audience for you. It's not like Amazon where you have to run PPC budgets on keywords, right? They may have an audience of 1,500,000 already, right? And they'll generate the traffic to your storefront directly through that, right? So for example, I can show you one of our clients that sells on Amazon, and recently they're going on TikTok. So what you're gonna do is you put some of your product catalog on here, and you provide a commission rates, right? And influencers or on TikTok or collaborators will come in and they'll want a sample. They'll try it out and then they'll post a video of your product with them trying it on and wearing it, right? And every sale that you get through them, they'll get the commission rate and you're gonna get the sale, right? So it's the best of both worlds. It's a win-win, and it's a unique thing that is very specific to the clothing niche, right? If you just have a look at some of these people and their following, like women's wear, 300K followers, 255 followers, stuff like that. So this is a trend that uh, could have lots of potential for clothing brands. So just keep it on the lookout. Okay, this video has been long enough. Hopefully this helped you provide you with any insight, anything that may provide value to your own clothing brand or fashion brand on Amazon. We wanted to make this video because we know we have lots of value to provide to the market and what has worked for our clients. So hopefully this helped you in any sort of way. We're going to be posting lots of more content for clothing and fashion and apparel on Amazon. So make sure to give us a follow and subscribe to us. And also, if you need help selling on Amazon, that's what we do for clothing and apparel. We aren't just any Amazon agency. We specialize in fashion and clothing, as we have done for the past 5 years, right? We know how to help you stand out with PPC, advertising, inventory management, design, and all sorts of stuff. So if you are interested or you need help or just want some guidance on what's not working for you right now or how to optimize and scale, feel free to reach out to us on our LinkedIn, our website, on our YouTube, and we'll be glad to help. Hopefully this video helped you in any sort of way. We're going to keep posting more and more and more, and have a great day.